man, what's up? It is the Ace Micheals show, and that is my loving way to bring you into the show. I could have done hardcore one, but that was the loving, soft, gentle entrance into the show. If you'd ever like to be on the show, we'd love to have you. All you have to do is submit your request by calling or emailing or just saying, hey, Ace, I'd like to be on the show, and we'll get you on the show. That's the best way to voice your opinions, ideas, convictions, suggestions, beliefs, dreams, aspirations. Get it all off your chest. Get it off your chest by being a guest. That's how that works. Hey, man, today my guest is Christina Baker. Oh, snap. Yeah, Christina Baker's in the house. And I like Christina. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Ace.
I do like Christina. I'm glad you were able to do the show today. Something tells me we're going to get into it. Tell the people a little bit about you and what you stand for and what you do.
Well, my name's Christina Baker, and I am Glock_girl RN on Instagram and Glock girl at RN Shooter on Facebook. I am an ER nurse of 11 years, and I am a travel nurse currently residing here in Virginia, my home state, and working in my home state of Virginia. Along my travels as a travel nurse, I became a competitive shooter. I love the run and gun, USPSA 3-gun, multi-gun, IDPA, and coming into my home state this year of Virginia, I am a recently dedicated gun rights activist.
That is what's up. You said a lot of things there that are red flags to me. You said Virginia, guns.
We got some red flags, all right.
I'm like, whoa. No, I'm playing with you. I don't care. Man. That's fine. So you do the gun thing. Tell us the first thing that everybody always wants to know then is, why are they trying to take your guns from you? Why are y'all people so adamant about y'all guns? Go.
Okay, so the key about gun control is control. That is the main objective. Gun control is racist at its core. It is sexist at its core. Who is most at risk other than minorities and LGBTQ communities and women? Who's most at risk for violence? And in 2008, the Supreme Court ruled that the Second Amendment right to defend yourself also is for the right to defend yourself, not just against a tyrannical government, but also you. And as a female, I refuse to be a victim. And Virginia decided to put some gun control out there that was making me a felon. I'm an ER nurse. I save lives. Let me protect mine. And everybody has that right. And when you say tyrannical government, and that's how the Constitution is written, and it shall not be infringed upon, that's exactly what we're talking about here. And they are very much infringing on your rights, and they want the control, and it is malicious in nature. Gun control does not protect people. If you talk about voters' rights and you want to say, you know what, people don't even need a ID anymore because it's their constitutional right to vote, and everybody should be able to vote, and it should be as easy and simple as possible. Meanwhile, you're digging in on gun control and infringing on that constitutional right to an extreme. There's tens of thousands of federal laws already in place controlling your right to bear arms. That already exists. We're going in the wrong direction here. Gun rights are civil rights. And why do people protect one civil right and not the other? It's called the Constitution of the United States, and it has to be defended at all costs.
Now, yeah, I agree. Now, I'm not here to debate with you, so I don't know if you're ramped up or if you are not ramped up, because I'm just getting to know you. But you don't have to ramp up, because I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm actually here to learn about it, because I don't know a damn thing about it. Now, after I know something, I'm the kind of person, like, after I know it, then I can put up an argument. Like, I can talk some crap. not just crap shit. I can talk some shit, okay? But now I don't know enough about it to talk any shit. So I'm really just curious. So with so much, where to
It's
begin?
my core. It's in my heart. So if I get ramped up, it's just part of being a freedom-loving American, and people talking about taking those away from us.
So let's talk about that a little bit further then. What, okay, can they really take that right away from you? Like, they can't take that away from you. That's like taking your driver's license. Like, they're not going to take your driver's license. They might suspend your driver's license, but they're never going to take your driver's license. Like, you're right?
Right. I mean, I would think that also. And I am, to tell you a little bit background about me,
Yeah.
I have not voted for several years, actually.
Okay.
I have been complacent in my freedoms as a concealed carry holder here in Virginia. I've been able to carry a firearm across the country when I protect myself crossing state lines. It's awful when I have to disarm myself as a single female traveling in unknown places across the country. I really hold a lot of value in the immediate now to be able to carry a firearm wherever I go. And when I don't, I mean, I am uncomfortable. So I didn't really think too much about it outside of what state I was in. I was like, I'm just not going to go to those states that I can't carry a gun in. I got to be able to bring my dogs and my guns. That's the only two requirements for me to work in that state. And all of a sudden, Virginia, a longtime conservative state, has been turned around, and we have a majority Democratic House and Senate and governor, and they have this agenda, and they had this bill that kind of initiated all this along with tons of other bills, but it was a assault weapons ban. This was a huge, broad ban of tons of things that even made my standard carry firearm illegal, so much the fact that I would be a felon. And that is my choice to carry that. I could carry an AR-15 around if I wanted. It's easier to use, and an AR-15, like assault weapon, I don't even know what that is. I'm on the range on the daily usually, and I don't even know what an assault weapon is. Most of my guns are semi-automatic firearms. They all operate the same way. You pull the trigger and one round goes off. That includes the AR-15. Mine is purple. It's not as scary as you think once you get to be around them a little. And there's tons of them all around you, not hurting you all the time. But either way, this was a very malicious bill, and it really showed their tail because yes, they are actually trying to take your guns. This bill included gun confiscation and made almost every single firearm I own illegal, and not just illegal, but a felony. So yes, they actually can. It would be a violation of the Constitution, but state does still have some authority. And it would go up to the Supreme Court by the bodies that help fight these things, like the VCDL or Virginia Citizen Defense League. But yes, they can take your guns. They do it in other states all the time, like New York and California.
So let me go in this direction. So clearly, they're trying to take the guns for a reason. And it would seem to me that the reason has to do with mass shootings. Would you agree?
Sure. So I think there are some people that might not think that this is malicious, or some people that have good intentions. You know what? Somebody died from a gun. Let's get rid of that gun. Or somebody died from this type of gun, or lots of people died from this type of gun. Well, lots of people die of lots of things every day, and none of them are in the United States Constitution. None of these things that I see as an ER nurse kill people every day. Cigarettes, alcohol, car accidents, food, obesity, all these things contribute to many deaths in America. And guess what I don't see every day? I don't see firearms deaths every day. Not even close to every day. Not every week, not every month, and that's across the country. And the communities I did see a lot of firearm deaths were, I first started in Churchill, Richmond. It's a very low socioeconomic status area with government housing. And I did see that is the most firearm related injuries or deaths that I've seen anywhere I've worked in the country, which was in Richmond. I'm curious what gun control would have helped prevent any of those that I've seen at all. And I can't think of a single one because we're talking about illegal use of firearms in the first place. So that's just the thing. Gun control is control. And no government official has the right to control my right to bear arms. It says not shall be infringed, and that was written down and meant in every literal way possible.
Now, two questions. Have you ever had to use a firearm to defend yourself? And or have you ever been in a situation where you saw someone else have to use their firearm to defend the group?
So it's interesting. So no, I have not, first of all. However, I've been traveling the country for over 7 years now.
Right.
But I did go to Virginia Commonwealth University for college. And that was inner city college. I love VCU. It's really diverse and it's right in the city. So you get exposed to a lot as a college student. And I really love it there. And I still do. I have a home in Richmond City. That's my home base. Mm-hmm. I personally know, and this was before I moved away, and I haven't really been back there since I carry. I started carrying as a travel nurse to protect myself as a travel nurse and as a female. But before I even moved away, I personally know like maybe 2 handfuls of people that have been robbed at gunpoint or been a part of some gun-related crime, pretty much all robbery. So if I were to need one anywhere, it would be in my hometown. I haven't been there in a long time. So when I am there, trust 100% of the time, unless of course I'm at the Capitol because they've banned guns there now. So, and that's illegal now because it's so safe in Richmond, as I just described. Walking to your car, it's really not cool that they did that because it's putting citizens at risk. But if I were to ever need one, it would be in these high crime areas, which often are where all the gun control is. New York City, Chicago, they have the harshest gun control laws there are, yet where do you need to protect yourself? Well, there.
Right. You know, the thing about me is that I don't have any issue with gun control or non-gun control. I think if people want to have guns, fine. They can have as many guns as they want. I don't care, as long as they ain't pointing them at me. And that's my problem with guns, is that aside from a cop, anybody else that I've ever known that had a gun, eventually it came out in some idiot moment. It's like, you know what, dude, put your gun away. Like, we know you got a gun, dude, okay? Well, I'm just saying, if they come over here, they gonna talk to Jimmy. I'm just saying, no, put Jimmy down. We got it. We got it. That's my experience, is that somebody has to, like, that gun gives them the right to prove something extra. Like, just know that if it ever comes down, I'm going to get the last word. You know why? Because I got Jimmy, and Jimmy's always ready with his other 6 buddies. Right.
Well, if you let Jimmy be shown in any intimidating manner other than it being in the face of a person trying to kill you or seriously harm you, that's called brandishing, and that is illegal. So it's really important to educate our communities and recognize when you do decide to buy a firearm to protect yourself. It's important you educate yourself. You take a class, a concealed carry class, especially if you really are going to, you need to know the laws about defending yourself within your home and outside your home. And there are tons of laws. So all that's very important, but it's like, oh, talking about bringing Jimmy out. Well, if you bring him out and you're not pulling the trigger to defend your life, you're committing a crime. And even if you did do it to defend yourself, you're looking at like $100 grand right off the top right there. Oh, completely legit shooting to defend your life. You are looking at this a lawsuit just to protect yourself there, but you are alive for that. So there's the plus in that.
There's a plus. Yeah, there's a plus in being alive after. I get that. But it seems to me, Christina, like your fight isn't really gun related. It's more ignorance related. Your fight is to educate people on both sides of it, because you do have those idiots who want to brandish Jimmy, and that throws a bad taste. Then you have those people who just don't know the freedom and liberty that you're speaking about by having the right to carry a gun. Now that I've heard about this, I might want to carry a gun because, why not? I might want to. It's a liberty, it's a freedom that I was born into this country. I'm supposed to have that right to bear it. Why not be able to bear it like a driver's license, right?
100%.
But I don't, because I've only heard ignorant stories and I've only seen ignorant tales, and my stomach turns when I hear about multiples of people getting killed by one person with a gun, and it makes me go, wow, why don't they do something to keep one person from coming in with a gun and killing all these people?
Right. And it's not to be a cliche, but it's true. Who stops a bad guy with a gun? A good guy with a gun, or a good girl. And something to be said about that is if we want this to never happen, we got to think realistically. Are we going to ever get rid of guns in America? No. There's like a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you had a number, I was gonna stop the show right now and be like, this girl, this is like your wife right here, homie. She can cook, she can clean, she got a gun, and she knows how many guns. That would have stopped everything.
I think it's like 400 million or something. It's something crazy, right? So that's not going away, nor should it. Okay, it's the Constitution. I personally exercise that right a lot. I do it on the range. There's this awesome gun community out there. It brings so much joy to my life. I can't even express it to you over this podcast. But evil exists. Whether it's a gun hurting somebody, which it's the person hurting somebody with a gun. Evil exists, and evil has always existed. And you have the right to protect yourself against evil. You can choose to do that with a firearm or not, but no piece of paper or law is going to protect you against evil when it comes knocking at your door. And 911 is only but so fast. And as we can see currently in our current situation in the country, that phone call is a lot less reliable than it used to be. If they're like,
way less, almost barely reliable. But that's another show. So let's talk about insistence and determination. Now you're a nurse. You've seen people show up all torn up from some bullet wounds, and you still want to shoot some people if you need to? You don't mind? You don't say, oh my gosh, I don't want a gun. Look what this did to this guy.
So some more background on me is I am a Christian, and I do believe and there's a lot in the Bible, or it exists in the Bible, about talking, about defending yourself. And you do not have to be a victim, and that would always be a last resort. Like I said, the gun does not come out unless your life is under threat. And I have a right to my life. I have a right to my body, and I have a right to protect that. And would that be something psychologically that I would have to deal with? 100%. But I am not willing to put my life before somebody who's maliciously coming after mine and wants to take mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen death. So and even in seeing death, yes, I am comfortable as we sit here talking right now. I am comfortable with having something to do with that if it's in defending my life.
If you needed to, turn.
And that's something that you have to think about also. If you are going to carry a firearm, this is what we're talking about. If we're talking about self-defense, you will have to be okay with that as a choice before you carry that firearm. Otherwise, guess where that firearm's going? Out of your hands and into theirs.
Right. And that's common sense anyway. I mean, if you're going to carry a knife for protection, you must have thought about, at some point, you're going to have to lodge this knife into some part of their body. Otherwise, why are you carrying a knife? You're not planning to use it? What are you doing?
Right.
I used to know this, this girl did our show, and we were talking after camera, and I said, so what do you do to protect yourself, based on the stories she told on the show? She goes, I have these Chinese stars. And I said, Chinese stars? You mean to tell me in a situation where you need to defend yourself, you're going to reach into your purse and you're going to be like, oh, you, and you, motherfucker, and you. And then after you star them to death, what are you going to do? You're going to go and pick your stars up out of, because the stars cost money. You're not just going to leave them there. So you're just going to go pick your stars up out and clean them off, put them back in their little star pouch, and go on. Like, you know what I mean?
Going back for bullets, Ace, I can tell you that's for sure.
No, bullets you don't need to go back for, right? That would be great. Why would you go back?
I guarantee you the police going to have that gun for a long time, and I'm probably never going to see it again.
That's right. Peter Baker, how do we follow you on the internet? We want to become fans, stalkers, followers, fiends, friends, whatevers.
Yes, that would be Glock Girl at RN Shooter on Facebook, and that would be Glock_Girl RN on Instagram. And every person has the right to protect themselves, and they have the right to their rights. So whether you're a gun person or you're not a gun person, if you're a freedom person, you gotta vote, get out there and vote and make a call to protect your rights.
Last question, because I was gonna close it, but I do have a little stretch of time. Last question is this thing about the NRA and the lobbyists. Like, I hear a lot about, they go, oh, they're always gonna lobby for the guns. Even if somebody goes out and kills 60,000 people with a gun, they're still never going to pass the law that's going to make guns illegal because of the lobbyists. What's your thoughts on that?
So I actually got to see a lot of these things go down firsthand here in Virginia. I was at the Capitol almost every week since the General Assembly session started January 8th, and that lasted into March. And I was able to see even NRA lobbyists specifically, like, kind of, and I saw all lobbyists, just kind of like a senator walking to lunch. Can I walk with you to lunch? Let's talk this. And then I'd see the same lobbyists, like with the next person doing that. And I was like, oh man, they're busy. And it was kind of entertaining to watch. But one thing is, the NRA was there, yes, and they are in the fight, yes. But there are tons of grassroots organizations, not the NRA, that are doing so much legislatively to fight for our rights. There's the VCDL for state level. There's Firearms Policy Coalition and Gun Owners of America. They are fighting nationally and federally and statewide. They're joining up with like the VCDL and things like that to fight tyranny, because that's what the fight's about, and that is ultimately what the Constitution was written for all the rights: the right to vote, the freedom of speech. This is also so you don't have a tyrannical government having more power than the people. And that's why the right to bear arms in the Second Amendment is so important. So the NRA, there's lots of controversy with the NRA. I am a lifetime member of the NRA, but I'm actually looking at a lot of different organizations right now that I see are most involved. And there is so much more money and so much more funding, especially with Bloomberg and things. I'm talking billions of dollars going against, going for gun control. So every penny and every person that can join this fight with me is essential to keeping these rights, because we can lose them, and we're watching them being taken away here in Virginia right now.
And that is what's up. Amen. It's the Ace Michael Show. It's a debate that's going to keep going. It's, we're not going to solve it today. But it's good to know both sides. It's always good to educate yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself. I think that's
education over legislation, Ace.
There we go. That is what's up. Ace Michael Show. You know what I say, man? Live the life you love. Love the life you live. Thank you, Christina Baker.
Thank you, Ace.